At the end of November, Scott Enterprises unveiled a massive redevelopment plan called Harbor Place for downtown and Erie's waterfront. The $150 million project will be built in phases at the northeast corner of State Street and the Bayfront Parkway. The plan features 2 hotels, a restaurant, townhomes, apartments, and retail shopping. And a significant portion of the Scott development plan, though, hinges on a newly passed piece of legislation called the CRIZ program. CRIZ stands for Community Revitalization and Improvement Zones. Our newsmaker tonight is Nick Scott, Jr., Vice President of Scott Enterprises. Nick, thanks so much for coming up and talking a little bit more about this. Sure. Now, this project looks amazing to anyone who sees it, but explain, though, the one thing I don't think people understand is CRIZ and why CRIZ money is so important to the project.
Yeah, well, I think if Erie can be awarded the CRIZ, I think the development down on the Bayfront really changes. I think these projects would probably happen without the CRIZ, but not to the extent that we've planned them, and certainly with the GAF and the other projects planned for that Bayfront. The CRIZ really allows us to do some things that we would never be able to do otherwise. And so we saw it happen in Allentown. I got to visit there and spend some time with their mayor, and they have $1 billion worth of development going on in their downtown because of a program just like this. So it's really important to our project and also the other projects on the Bayfront for the CRIZ to get passed.
Well, let's talk about that. Your hotel plans are not the only ones on the drawing board for the Bayfront. Is there enough convention center business or need for that many hotels on the Bayfront?
Well, there's a 200-room hotel that's been considered for the Bayfront connected to the convention center, as well as ours. And I do think we would hit an oversaturation point. Having the 300 rooms added to that market would be difficult. I think conventioneers really like hotel rooms to be connected to the convention center, but with so few conventions that have come to Erie, really 99% of the time that hotel would be acting as a typical hotel and not a convention hotel. So I think one of the challenges is you don't want to build these complexes for Easter Sunday, and I think there would be an oversaturation point we might hit.
Now let's talk about the difference between the projects. What sets your project apart? Because we've heard about all kinds of plans for the Bayfront over the years.
Yeah.
But seeing your plans in the 3D images, the size and scope much bigger, it seems, than other plans.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time making sure that we created a real sense of place here. We've got retail opportunities for people to go down there and shop and eat, work, and play down there. So we've got restaurants in the hotel. We've got living as well with apartments and condominiums and so forth. So all right along the waterfront, and it really creates this really cool community that we're calling Harbor Place that I think will really change the landscape of the Bayfront.
It's a lifestyle that you've established.
Absolutely,
it looks like.
Absolutely.
Well, Governor Corbett set aside $25 million for a publicly financed hotel. $25 million for a publicly financed hotel project. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I really don't think that that an authority like that should be in the hotel business. I think that government should really set the table so that it encourages private development. And in this case, they've really gotten into the hotel business. And I think, adding another 200-room hotel that they've considered with that $25 million would put another $25 million, totaling $50 million on the taxpayers' back, which would jeopardize the Sheraton Hotel, which has already been put on the taxpayers' back. The complex down there doesn't create any tax revenue for the city, not the Sheraton, not the Bayfront Convention Center. And so our program down there with Harbor Place does create some really cool place, but not only that, it creates tax revenue for the community. So we really don't think it's in the best interest of the community to put $25 million or $55 million back onto the taxpayers' backs.
And it's nice to see more tax revenue for the city of Erie.
Absolutely.
Desperately needed. Nick Scott, Jr., thank you so much for joining us and sharing more information about the project.